What's up, guys? Saturday morning early, got me a fresh haircut, feeling pretty good. We're here today, we're gonna remove the rear end from the Datsun Hast. So the only thing that's really left of this car from the original build is the rear. And there's nothing wrong with the rear. I'm trying to make this car at the level of some of these RVW cars as far as the nice quality, you know, the wow factor. And obviously I want a 9-inch because the 8.8 is what the car started with, and it has served its purpose very well. It's never gave me any issue, but I just like to step up to something a little bit nicer, really, because I need some adjustment on my ride height for the coilover position and different things. So this rear may be going into another Datsun just like this. I've got a friend that's building a car very, very similar to this, and this might work out for him where it's just a direct bolt-in deal. So been talking to the Hammer Concepts and Designs. A lot of you know who he is, and I'm gonna ship this rear to him, and he's going to make another rear based on his design, but with these dimensions. Now I could give him the outside dimension and just fill out his typical build sheet like you would for like anybody would when they're getting him to build a rear. But since this chassis already been established and basically been built around the adjustments we have on this rear and the dimensions and stuff of the brackets, he's gonna need to follow that pretty close, and so it can go straight back in the car as far as where the coilovers bolt up and stuff like that. But with his, we will have more adjustment and different things, but dimensionally all the brackets have to kind of line up exactly the same. The way the wishbone is gonna probably change a little bit, but I'm just not confident enough without him having it right in front of him to know what he has to do to just give him measurements. So we're gonna take it out today, we're gonna put it on a pallet, and we're gonna ship it to him in Clarksville, Tennessee is where he's located. And the guy that I know that might be buying this rear, that actually saves him about 6.5 hours each way of driving if he was to come pick up this rear. So he might be picking up the rear from Hammer Concepts. So that's what we're gonna get started on. It won't take me just a minute to get this thing out. We've not got but just the 4-link brackets at the back, the wishbone, the anti-roll bar, and then the coilovers, and this thing will be out. So here we go. All right, I got the rear out. Putting the pallet jack underneath it seemed like a good idea at the time, but it really got in my way getting the bolts out. That's why it took a little bit to get the thing out. Plus I've got the car back in there against our break room, or not our break room, but our break area. So I'm against the picnic table, kind of hard to move around. But just an overview again of this rear for some people that are wondering. This is an 8.8 rear out of an, I think a 2001 F-150 was the year. Shop I used to work at, a customer brought it in and the bearings were ate up in the rear and he just wanted to get a junkyard replacement. So I took this one home and took a plasma cutter and a grinder, cut all the bracketry off of the axle tubes, and basically cleaned everything up. Bought a set of 4-link brackets from Rhodes Race Cars, and took it to Eric Yost. He put it in his jig and cut it down like it was supposed to be. Put the brackets on there, put the housing ends or the axle tube ends on it. It uses 9-inch ends with 9-inch axles and stuff, so you could use the 9-inch brake setup and all that. It's got 35 spline Moser axles on it, Willwood drag brakes, just a standard thick aluminum back brace on it. It's got a Strange 1350 yoke. It's also got the Motion Raceworks drive shaft sensor on there, which I need to throw that sensor back on there if Andrew's going to use it. But pretty basic. It'll definitely hold the power in a car this weight, which a lot of guys are using them in the Fox bodies and making a lot of power with them, and they're holding up good. So good rear end. We just want something nice and pretty in there now. So hopefully, if Andrew gets this thing, he can put it to good use in his Datsun chassis. So probably the next video you see about this rear stuff will have the rear back from Hammer Concepts. So we'll see what he can do with it. So stay tuned.